High-income ETFs, especially covered call ETFs, have exploded in popularity over the past few years. They have become core holdings for income-focused investors looking to generate consistent cash flow while minimizing portfolio volatility. These ETFs work by selling call options on their holdings to generate premium income, which then gets paid out to investors in the form of a high dividend yield that is typically around 10% or even higher. That steady stream of income not only cushions downside risk, but also allows for frequent reinvestment thanks to their monthly or even weekly distributions. But not all of them are created equal. And today I am breaking down two of the most talked about funds in the entire market space, SPYI and GPIX. These are the NEO's S&P 500 High Income ETF and the Goldman Sachs S&P 500 Premium Income ETF. And for me, one of them is the clear winner. SPYI and GPIX follow the same core structure, which is selling covered calls on the S&P 500. But the real question is, which one delivers stronger long-term performance and which one is better suited for your portfolio depending on your goals? In today's video, I'm going to break down each fund in detail, analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and go through exactly how I personally evaluate which fund may offer better risk-reward over the long term. We'll be comparing dividend yields, price performance, total returns, expenses, yield on cost, taxes, and the specifics of their covered call strategies. For this deep dive, I'll be using Seeking Alpha's premium tools, charts, tables, plus at the end, I will also show you how to use Seeking Alpha's mock portfolio tool to better visualize your total income potential across different ETFs. So make sure you guys stick around until the end because you definitely don't want to miss this one. Starting with SPYI. SPYI was launched in August of 2022 and currently manages nearly $6 billion in assets. The fund carries a relatively high expense ratio of 0.68%, which is considerably higher than most other high-income ETFs in this category. The primary reason for this higher expense ratio comes down to its unique strategy, which I'll explain shortly. Currently, SPYI offers a dividend yield of over 12% paid out monthly, which is extremely attractive for income investors and retirees. That high yield is also why SPYI maintains a very strong dividend grade on Seeking Alpha. The fund distributes a very consistent dividend every month. All right, now moving on to GPIX, which was launched about a year later in October of 2023. And while it's newer, GPIX has already grown to nearly $2.3 billion in assets under management. Its expense ratio is also much lower at 0.29%, which is less than half of SPYI's. Again, largely due to differences in how the fund is managed. Currently, GPIX yields under 9%, also distributed monthly, and while that's still a strong yield, it is noticeably lower than SPYI, which explains why GPIX carries a lower dividend grade on Seeking Alpha. However, GPIX also distributes a very consistent dividend every month. Now, at first glance, income-focused investors may naturally gravitate towards SPYI simply because of its higher dividend yield. But this is where you need to be careful and look beyond just the yield alone. Despite SPYI having far more assets under management today, GPIX is growing significantly faster with its AUM expanding at nearly 3 times the rate of SPYI. Asset growth is one of my favorite tools to track on Seeking Alpha because it gives you real-time insight into which ETFs are gaining momentum and trust among investors. Now, when we start comparing the two side by side in terms of total return, this is where things get really interesting. GPIX has delivered much stronger performance compared to SPYI. When you compare both to the S&P 500, you will notice that GPIX consistently captures around 50% more of the S&P 500's returns than SPYI does. But how is that possible? After all, both ETFs hold the exact same underlying stocks from the S&P 500 and both utilize covered call strategies. Now, one thing I always like to do is separate total returns from price return, which excludes a fund's dividend distributions. This gives me a much clearer picture of how the fund strategy is actually performing and whether or not it's the right ETF for my personal investment goals. Now, if you want access to the same comparison tools, charts, ETF screeners, and ETF deep dives that I use in all of my videos, then I highly suggest to sign up with Seeking Alpha. And right now they are running their Black Friday sale with 20% off site-wide. That includes $60 off their annual premium plan, plus savings of over $220 on their premium and Alpha Picks bundle, and $480 off their Pro Quant portfolio. I highly suggest to take advantage of the sale before it ends. You can use my link in the comments section or description down below, and once again, you get 20% off site-wide on Seeking Alpha. When comparing SPYI and GPIX, the price return difference is massive. SPYI has delivered only about 13% in capital appreciation since GPIX's inception, while GPIX has delivered nearly 32%. And remember, this is looking strictly at the portfolio growth itself, excluding dividends. So this is essentially how much your portfolio value has grown over time. If you're somebody that wants income but also wants to benefit from long-term compounding growth, then targeting ETFs with stronger price appreciation becomes extremely important. For me, this highlights two major things. The first is the fund's long-term trend in net asset value, NAV, and the second is its covered call strategy. Covered call ETFs are typically known to trade off some upside growth in exchange for higher income. But GPIX's strategy clearly allows more flexibility for its underlying assets to grow without capping that upside as aggressively as SPYI does. And long term, that is especially important. Funds that allow for more upside growth tend to recover more effectively after market pullbacks, which helps protect NAV over time and avoid the long-term NAV deterioration that some covered call funds experience. This brings me to one of my favorite tools on Seeking Alpha, which is the yield on cost chart and their quant ratings. I personally use yield on cost as a simple way to identify potential dividend traps versus ETFs that show stronger NAV appreciation potential. When an ETF has solid capital appreciation, its yield on cost chart will trend upward over time. But when appreciation is limited, you'll typically see a flat or even downward trending chart. And when we compare SPYI and GPIX side by side, you can see the difference pretty clearly. GPIX's yield on cost chart is trending upward while SPYI's remains relatively flat. And for anyone unfamiliar with yield on cost, the chart simply shows how your dividend yield has grown relative to your original purchase price. For example, if you bought the fund 2 years ago and today your dividend yield is lower than your starting yield, that means the fund has experienced meaningful price appreciation. But if the yield is flat or higher, it signals that NAV has remained stagnant or has dropped. Now, one important thing to understand is that generally, the higher a fund's dividend yield, the flatter its yield on cost chart tends to be. This is a very common trend among high-income ETFs. In some extreme cases, such as WiMAX, which currently offers a massive dividend yield of nearly 50%, you will actually see its yield on cost chart trending sharply downward. And what this reflects is heavy NAV depletion, meaning the fund's underlying value is deteriorating over time. That's why I personally use a simple rule of thumb. I look for high-income ETFs where the yield on cost chart is either flat or slightly trending upwards. This tells me that the fund is generating income without sacrificing too much NAV growth. Now, if you're an investor who purely wants to maximize income, you might prefer ETFs with a flatter yield on cost chart because more of the return is being paid out immediately as income. But if you want a healthier balance between income and growth, which allows you to benefit from both steady distributions and long-term compounding, you want to see a yield on cost chart that is slightly trending upward like we see with GPIX. Seeking Alpha's quant ratings can also give great insight here because the quant system measures a fund's growth and momentum. And when you pull up both ETFs side by side within Seeking Alpha's high income subcategory, you'll see that GPIX holds a noticeably stronger quant score compared to SPYI, further confirming the outperformance we're seeing in its total returns. What's very clear is that GPIX uses a more flexible covered call strategy, allowing it to capture more upside growth relative to SPYI, which ultimately drives its superior total returns. That said, we still have to look at how well each fund manages downside risk. Higher dividend yields can help cushion volatility because the constant cash flow helps soften the impact of falling prices. And in this area, SPYI does manage to minimize downside volatility slightly better than GPIX. But in my opinion, that small advantage isn't enough to offset the much stronger growth potential GPIX provides. So now that we walked through dividend yields, price appreciation, and downside risk, the real question is, why is GPIX able to provide stronger total returns even though both funds follow a covered call strategy? You see, SPYI sells 2 to 3% out of the money covered calls on the S&P 500. And as I've emphasized many times before, selling out of the money covered calls is generally preferred because it gives the underlying holdings some room to appreciate while still generating income. And that balance allows investors to benefit from both income and growth. However, 2 to 3% out of the money isn't much breathing room, so to compensate for this limited upside, SPYI adds another layer to its strategy. It also purchases call options. These long calls allow SPYI to capture some additional upside if the market rallies, helping to offset the growth cap created by the covered calls. Now, it's important to note that SPYI writes call options on up to 100% of the fund's assets. In other words, the entire portfolio has a growth cap in place in exchange for income, which also helps explain why SPYI offers such a high dividend yield. However, this is where I have a few concerns. Capping growth across 100% of the portfolio naturally limits its long-term growth potential, and we can clearly see that reflected in SPYI's lower price appreciation compared to GPIX. On top of that, while buying call options can help in a rising market, these long calls only pay off if the S&P 500 keeps moving higher. If the market stalls or declines, these purchase call options lose value and drag down total return. So despite the fund's very attractive yield, the underlying strategy does restrict growth, and the combination of selling many calls and purchasing calls adds significant trading costs. Those additional costs are part of the reason why SPYI's expense ratio is so much higher compared to its peers. Now, GPIX takes a very different and, in my opinion, much smarter approach. Instead of selling out-of-the-money calls, GPIX puts an entirely new spin on the strategy. It sells at-the-money call options on only 20 to 70% of the portfolio, while leaving the remaining portion completely uncapped to participate fully in any market upside. And for anyone not familiar, at-the-money call options fully cap any growth on the portion of assets they're written on. ETFs like XYLD, which sells at-the-money calls on 100% of its assets, the S&P 500, significantly lags behind both GPIX and SPYI in terms of total return, and you can clearly see that in their long-term performance. However, GPIX's hybrid approach is, in my opinion, genius. Selling at-the-money calls allows the fund to collect much more premium while still keeping a large chunk of the portfolio free to grow without any ceiling. This is exactly why GPIX has been able to deliver such strong price appreciation while still maintaining a solid dividend yield. In fact, to generate the same amount of premium from a single at-the-money call, SPYI would need to sell 3 times as many 2% out-of-the-money calls. Fewer contracts means lower trading costs, which directly translates into lower fees and a much more competitive expense ratio for GPIX. So, by limiting how much of the portfolio is capped and maximizing income with fewer option contracts, GPIX strikes a balance that allows it to generate high income while still participating meaningfully in market growth, and that is the key driver behind its superior total returns. So overall, you can see how a subtle change in the covered call strategy impacts the long-term performance of the funds. And despite the lower dividend yield, investors are starting to pile a lot of money into GPIX, which explains its exceptionally high AUM growth over the last few months. So, in my opinion, if you're an investor who wants to maximize income and you don't really care about capital appreciation, then SPYI is the better choice. But if you want a decent mix between capital appreciation and a very strong dividend yield in order to capitalize on the compounding effect and maybe reinvest dividends into a different fund, then GPIX takes the win. And in terms of taxes, both ETFs distribute majority of their dividends as return of capital, which is very tax efficient and especially beneficial for international investors in order to avoid withholding taxes. And I already made a video on return of capital. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly suggest you guys check it out right here. Now, in order to get a better idea of how much of an impact this has on your total income relative to your portfolio size, Seeking Alpha's mock portfolio tool gives you the ability to track the daily performance and the total income potential of your portfolio. As you can see, I have a portfolio representing $100,000, but you can structure a portfolio depending on your goals and get real-time insights into its performance. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Discussions of ETFs, investing strategies, market updates, or specific funds are general, not tailored to your financial situation, and should not be relied upon for decision-making. Investing involves significant risks, including total loss of principal, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I am not a registered financial advisor. My content reflects personal research and publicly available information. I may earn affiliate commissions from mentioned products or links disclosed per FTC guidelines, but these do not influence my opinions. Always consult a licensed financial professional and verify information independently. By watching this, you agree I am not liable for any losses or consequences from your actions. International viewers should consult local regulations.